Hello everyone. So this is my last part of the last session. It's basically I'll be talking more about the conclusion of this whole maternal infant young child nutrition course. I hope you enjoyed it. It's all this whatever that we have mentioned has come of course from field experiences, but we have also conducted research in many areas, and these are all evidence based, but as I mentioned we are still learning, okay, and every time that we help mother, every time that we teach her different techniques of breastfeeding, or every time we discuss with mothers on complementary foods and we actually try in the field, every child teaches us new things. So I am sure you all would feel the same, that you will experience learning throughout your life, okay. So one thing I want to kind of tell you that this as you learn, please share your experience with us, because this was more of a sharing, of course through NPTEL it was more of a one way session, except for live Q&A sessions, but I would like to learn from you all your experiences. It would matter a lot to me, now just talking about different phases of maternal infant young child nutrition, and I want to kind of start with pre-pregnancy nutrition, adolescent nutrition, focus on protein. Please avoid junk food. We are seeing lot of PCODs, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, polycystic ovarian diseases in children. So adolescents I am talking about, and then they have when they get married they have infertility problems. So do avoid junk food, do avoid too much of carbohydrate, decrease your carbohydrate intake remarkably, increase your protein intake, increase your good fat intake, okay, and that would basically help get you into good health. Do muscle resistant exercise, do tell them to do a lot of play sports, to kind of if they have access to sports arena like swimming pools, they can do swimming or they can do dancing, they can do whatever they want, but I prefer that they are very active. Avoid a lot of screen, avoid social media, also I do recommend holistic health. So for example, I do recommend that if adolescent can go through meditation courses or some of those, that would really help them a lot. Pre-pregnancy, similar, same thing as I mentioned in adolescent, you are preparing your body for conception, okay. So focus again on your protein, focus on your nutrient which are not easily available, like your B12, choline, those nutrients are really important. Iron is important. India is struggling with iron deficiency anemia. So do focus on those nutrients, okay. Again, keep the carbohydrate content low in the diet. Sugar, jaggery, absolutely I do not recommend at all. For lactating mothers, pregnant mothers, similar things, as you watch the nutrient count of day to day foods, you will definitely now know that what food to recommend to pregnant and lactating mothers also. Lactating mothers, I get a lot of queries from mothers whether she should have satavari, whether she should have methi seeds, or whether she should have moringa leaves. Yes, of course you can have it, but believe me, your output will increase when baby gets good milk transfer. Okay, so it is basically demand and supply, demand and supply. So if demand is more, means if the more milk is get kind of pulled out from mother's breast by proper latching, proper milk transfer will automatically increase mother supply. okay. That's nature's way to protect that baby, to make that baby grow, okay. If the milk pulling or the milk transfer is not good, milk is being developed but baby is not being able to latch properly and get that milk out, however hard you try with all these galactogogues, eventually it will decrease, okay. So just to make sure that focus on the technicality aspect. For pregnant mothers, I strongly recommend that besides working on nutrition at say around 8 months to 9 months, around 8 months, for last 2 months of pregnancy, I insist that mothers should learn proper breastfeeding technique, and cross cradle hold really works so well. Any hold, whatever works for you, it's fine, but in my program I have seen remarkable results with cross cradle hold technique, okay. So please teach mother those counseling points which are important. Teach her how to look for hind milk, how does she know whether it's fore milk, hind milk, talk about nighttime feeding, teach her all this is a content, okay. Because what has happened, and this has been my experience, that all these mothers, they come to us, I am talking about the educated mothers, privileged mothers, they come from corporate hospital to us after 1 month of undergoing so much of complication of lactation, just because they were not guided properly during pregnancy and when mothers were in the hospital, as well as when she went home. So I do recommend that please kind of prepare your pregnant clients in the last trimester, okay. Teach her about breast crawl, teach her about nipple shield complication, tell her that she does not need nipple shield. So even if somebody offers nipple shield in the hospital, she should immediately refuse it, say no, I do not need it, I know how to breastfeed, I know how to latch the baby, okay. So if she is confident, believe me, she will have such a beautiful journey as soon as baby comes out, okay. Also teach her how to breastfeed the baby if she has cesarean section. Teach her how to manually express, because believe me, 99% of the doctors would say, oh, you have cesarean section, you cannot breastfeed the child because milk does not come in, and that is absolutely it is a myth, okay. So you teach her how to do press compress release, how to if baby has difficulty latching, do not rush to start formula, do not rush, teach mothers all these different kind of survival mechanism before she goes into delivery, okay. So teach her how to express, teach her how to store that milk, teach her how to kind of feed the baby with spoon, direct latching when the mother is in cesarean section, also while she is post cesarean, when she is in the hospital for 4-5 days, teach her how to put the baby kind of, we have shown that in a tutorial. So prepare her with that, prepare her with all this, these are her tools, okay. When everybody is against breastfeeding in the hospital, all these tools that you have taught her will come in the use, okay. So do that, and as of course lactating mothers, more she is prepared during pregnancy, better it is. Do talk about her nutrition. She will require good amount of protein and other nutrient dense food. Give her energy in the form of good fats. Again, no, do not give too much of carbohydrate, especially starch. Give them good carbohydrates like all the different vegetables, above the ground grown vegetables, all that, of course, absolutely. Millets are really good, leafy vegetables extremely good, your dals, your dairy products for lactating mothers, amazing, seeds, nuts. So focus on this nutrient dense food rather than just rotis and rice and laddus, okay. After baby is born, as I said, about the baby now. So again, teach mothers or show her some tutorials on how to take care of newborn babies, like a lot of time I see babies are wrapped so many times, or babies are not properly, especially low birth weight babies are not given proper KMC. So that is also very important. So kind of you have all this access to all this health spoken tutorials, so do use them in your practice, and just kind of be very empathetic and think of how, if you have gone through all this thing, what would have helped you, and just support this mother as your own sister or as your own friend, and it will go a long way. It will be easier for you also to manage all these issues. You won't find any complication if everything goes right, and that's again, it's in your hand how well prepared your client is, from the time of pregnancy. Okay, and then comes your complementary feeding stage. So what I do recommend is to of course always give information about exclusive breastfeeding till 6 months of age, but I do recommend to sensitize mother. I think by the time child is 4 months old, you just sensitize her about dietary diversity, sensitize her about picky eating and all that, how to start complementary feeding, sensitize her about personal hygiene, how to store foods, talk about food that she can start with once baby finishes 6 months, So you can basically start as you had trained this mother during last trimester about breastfeeding. Similarly, I want you to train this mothers when baby is 4 months of age, keep sensitizing her. So as soon as baby is 6 months old, then she will know what to do, And one more thing I want all a lactation consultant to know, it's good to follow up these babies. So if you have kind of helped this mother with lactation in say first 3-4 days in the hospital, I want you to follow these babies up, at least check the weight, make sure that whatever advice you have given is it helped or not, because I get so many mothers from all over India, they say that okay, I had this lactation consult in the hospital, but then I don't I'm not in touch with her. So then how will you learn whether whatever advice you gave worked or not? So if you really want to learn from the field, I would not let that baby go till you see demonstrate 40 to 50 grams of weight gain per day for next 2-3 weeks, because that is what WHO recommends, 42 or 43 grams weight gain per day for at least up to 5th week, right. So I would recommend at least kind of monitor those babies and see your advices are working or not, because if it is not working, that means you want to relearn or you want to understand where you are going wrong. Okay. Again, once the child turns 6 months or complete 6 months, again you will have to handhold the mother for probably next couple of months or so, okay, because she is always skeptical about what food should I start, what should I give, whether I can give egg or not, whether I can give meat or not, whether I can do this or not. As you guys had question, mothers have many more questions, okay. So please guide them properly, sensitize them in between 4 to 6 months of age, so that the initiation of complementary feeding goes so well that you will be so happy, and you will actually when you use a lot of this apps. There is one app that I really like, it is called Child Growth Tracker. On the logo is basically the babies kind of climbing on the stairs, or the ladder. So, that basically that's Child Growth Tracker, and you follow those babies and put that baby's growth on those tracker, and you will see how babies grow so beautifully. And when you start nutrient dense foods, like beans or nuts and seeds and eggs and meats, you will see children length grow beautifully, and focus on length after 6 months, okay, because you have focused on weight for first 6 months. Now comes the length, because now if child is not growing in length and if child is growing only on weight, that means child is getting lot more energy dense food. That means child is not getting enough nutrients, most likely it is protein and some of those type 2 nutrients which I mentioned. Okay, so for after 6 months of age, I generally look at the length aspect, and if length is growing well and if child has already had good weight at 6 months of age, even if child do not gain so much of weight, you know, as recommended by WHO, I don't worry too much, because if the length is growing, that means child is getting enough nutrients. Yes, you may need to increase some calories in the form of good fats. So, do not give too much of this starch or potatoes or rice or a lot of this fruits to gain child's weight. Okay, you gain child's height, and to get weight going, I do recommend to kind of give more amount of good fats, again in the form of egg, or your meats, or your ghee, your yogurt with full fat, so all that will definitely improve the calorie intake. Okay, but you want to have good calories, you do not want to have calories which are empty calories. Okay, again I am not going too much into calorie more, because you can have a good calorie and bad calorie, but as if you see a child growing very well in height and not so much on weight, so then you may need to increase your fat intake, baby's fat intake. Okay, alright. So that comes your complementary feeding stage. One more thing which I have also noticed, that many mothers start junk food very early on. Okay, please refrain from exposing children to a lot of junk food. Believe me, the habit that you create when children are young, that habit will go long way, and you want to be the role model. You cannot expect that you eating a lot of junk food, you eating samosas and jalebis, and you are telling children that no, you do not eat, it is okay if I eat, but you cannot eat. No, it does not go that way. So keep your junk food to just occasion, maybe once a month or so. There has to be some special occasion. Okay, and believe me, children will do the same. So inculcate those good habits, inculcate about exercising. So if you are exercising, children will, even young child will look at you, you will be amazed how such good observation that they have. So think of that, and just inculcate all those habits by you being a role model for them. Okay, avoid kind of exposure to screens, even for younger children especially, because they do have a lot of attention deficit when they are exposed to kind of digital screen too early on in life. So in America, in fact, we are very strict about we have zero tolerance to screen for first couple of years or so. Okay, so that is important, and I think I have covered pretty much all the topics that I wanted to discuss, and I would like to thank a few people. First of all, I would like to thank NPTEL, both Miss Bharti, Miss Bharti Satpal, and Miss Bharti Tari, and also my TAs Bela and Tasneem. You have just been amazing. Also Tushar, who has coordinated my live recording and sessions, and his team, and full IIT Madras team who is coordinating this NPTEL course, and of course all of you for joining this course. And and there might be difference of opinion, but we all are still learning, and I am open to learn from you guys. So if you have any experiences that you may have after taking this course in the practical life, do share it with me, and thank you so much. And hopefully we will have next session or next course in Hindi. So if anybody would like to take this course in Hindi, you can ask them to join probably in July. Let me see if I can do it, but thank you so much.